everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bull Energy Loose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenney and Andy McPhee.
Yeah, for sure. I literally live with autism every single day, both literally and physically, although on a big scale because I live in that Sheridan residential home that I brought up a couple years ago.
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
quite an interesting experience living there because I have housemates that are autistic like me, a couple of whom I had known for a number of years before I moved into Sheridan. And so it's been quite an experience, but also it's been a little bit tense because we all have our personal differing opinions and how we were
mhm.
differently raised by our folks. And so and part of the struggle I had with transitioning into Sheridan was I came in there with the mindset of Andy McPhee, which is, just get to work and, not make everything wrong and also tell people the truth, even if it makes them feel uncomfortable. And so obviously, though, with the kind of home we're in, that didn't click with everyone just because they weren't,
Mm,
taught by Andy and the behavioral
yeah,
therapists that oversee us, see it as sort of unorthodox, but
mm.
but I don't
Difficult
regret.
conversations can be very tricky.
Yeah, very tricky. And so it means that when conflict happens, it's quite interesting, how it can go downhill or go uphill or reach a resolution. It's just sort of, quite interesting. But, shows that, sometimes living with people with autism is both fun, but it's also not fun sometimes. But overall, my experience with Sheridan's been pretty good. So, yeah. You want to hear one funny moment I have from living there so far?
Sure.
Okay, so we had a housemate that lived with us for a while who was autistic named Talon, and he moved out just recently. But about a few weeks before he moved out, we were stopping by the local grocery store called Fry's, which is basically Safeway. Have you ever heard of Safeway here in the States?
Yes.
It was basically Safeway for our area of the country. And so we were stopping by the grocery store, and he was going to go in to pick up a few items for what was only going to be a less than 3 minute period of being inside, basically. So when he left the car and we parked, we decided as a group, including the staff at our residential home, we all decided that we were just going to act like we were asleep. And then when Talon came back, we were going to confuse him. So we all lied down in our seats and moved our seats back, etc., and just acted like we were snoring. And then when Talon came back, like a couple minutes later, he saw us all acting all sleeping and acting like we were just really weak and wiped out. And then he opened the door and asked us what we were doing. And then I just remember stirring awake, being like, oh. And then I was like, Talon, how long were you in there for? And the others, also joined the act by saying, Bro, were you in there for 2 hours? And it was just Talon eventually, entered the car just feeling really confused. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
poor fellow.
It was just a little bit of messing with him a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.